on a day when the stock market got pulverized from the get-go, and a lot of it was the usual supply chain issues, then turn around and finish the session in the black, it's worth thinking about what could go right. I'm tired of thinking about what could go wrong. The recent sell-off is all about how the Federal Reserve might need to aggressively raise interest rates and to stamp out rampant inflation. But what if we had another way to cool down inflation? One of the biggest contributors to rising prices is the supply chain crisis. It's a crisis that resulted in soaring transportation costs. And when it comes to supply chain solutions, we like to check in with Flexport, the privately held software company that uses data analytics to help its clients make smarter logistics decisions. So are we in for another year of supply chain chaos, or is there some light at the end of the tunnel? Let's check in with Ryan Petersen. He's got it right the whole way. He's the founder and CEO of Flexport to get a better sense of the supply chain situation. Mr. Petersen, welcome back to Mad Money. And are things any better than when we spoke to you last?
Booyah, Jim. And I'm sorry to say that, no, they are not any better than the last time we spoke, which I believe was sort of Q3 of last year. If anything, delays have gotten longer. Prices are kind of flat, but they're flat at really high levels, which nobody's happy with. So.
But theoretically, if the Secretary of Transportation sat down with you or taken one of those boat rides, I don't know if he did that with you, he would have realized that, you know what, maybe we need even the National Guard to come in here and do some things.
I don't know exactly what I would do if I was in his shoes. It's not like the government runs all of our supply chains and is in charge of everything. And I think we're lucky for that we live in a free enterprise society. But yeah, we're certainly at a time where markets seem to be breaking down with the supply chain. And so maybe there is a role for government intervention, but it's not exactly clear what I would do in his shoes.
But, you know, when I read it, I mean, look, I happen to be, there's a great mercantile country, the Dutch. And when I read your interview, I say, hey, listen, if the Dutch could do it, we could do it. What are they doing right in these other democracies that we can't do?
You know, I think there is something there. Like in the United States, we have right now a big problem with the ports is we have unions and employers that can't quite agree. They have a contract negotiation coming up on July 1st of next year. And when they can't see eye to eye on things like automation and building technology that's going to enable our ports to run more efficiently. Today, American ports run at a lower productivity level than those of Mombasa, Kenya. So we're not in a great place. The Dutch have got famously strong labor protections and social safety net, and yet they've somehow managed to sit down with the union and negotiate. The Port of Rotterdam's been fully automated for over 20 years. So it is possible, even in a society with really strong labor protections. But hey, it's not easy to just wholesale copy whatever it is that they're doing that works and bring it here. I wish it was that easy.
And you know what discourages me? I was hoping that we could talk about reshoring, but you're very clear that it's just not going to really help. And I wanted to talk about how return on equity was benefited from the way they did things, but it was obviously that our company skimped. And what's really true is that it's just not a national priority. And yet, when I look at the number of ships and containers you're talking about, it's probably one of the most important ways to stop inflation.
Absolutely. I mean, we need good infrastructure, no matter what side you sit on the political spectrum. I think everybody can agree we need to have good infrastructure so our companies can do business globally. We have the best companies in the world. We should make it really easy for them to reach their customers anywhere in the world. And technology has to be a big part of that story, whether we're talking about big robots at the ports or really great technology like Flexport brings to give people visibility and control over their freight, some sense of predictability so they can plan. One of my big concerns right now for all the brands out there is they overorder. They order too much stuff that people didn't want, and then they're stuck with too much inventory, where for the last year, the story has been not enough inventory. These are really hard problems. Technology can play a big role in making those decisions.
Yeah, and I know the retailers all went down because people feel it's going to start coming in and hurt them. Now, one last question. Okay, let's say I'm the mayor of a town in Oregon, and I can get a big dredging contract, and I can get all this new stuff. Can the beast change? Can we come up with a new port?
It's so interesting right now to watch this because the Port of Long Beach, we're seeing long delays, like 20 days longer than normal with ships waiting offshore at Long Beach, Los Angeles, which is the biggest port complex in the United States. The Port of Oakland, which is 1 day sailing to the north. In fact, it's closer if you're coming from China. You come down from the north. It only has 5 or 6 days delays. And yet companies continue to shift everything through Long Beach. And there's something about human beings that we're creatures of pattern and habit, and we just keep doing the thing we're doing. So I'm not sure like that a new port up in Oregon or somewhere else on the West Coast would get business, because for some reason there's already less delays at these other ports. And brands and companies just keep shipping through Long Beach.
Well,
I
maybe
don't have an
you
explanation.
can shoot me an email about the knuckleheads that keep going there, and we can talk about them and see if they like being talked about on air. Maybe they'll find that the best way to do is to go to Oakland and not be embarrassed at the supermarket. So anyway, look, you are a delight to come on. You've been right the whole way. I wish you weren't. Every time I wish you weren't right. But darn it, you are. Ryan Petersen, CEO of Flexport, who understands the game, and it is always a joy to see you, sir. Thank you.
Likewise, thank you.
Hey, look, I'm not saying it's not rocket science. This actually is a form of rocket science, but we got one. He knows what he's doing. Hey, I'm going to Oakland. We're doing our show from Oakland. Mad Money's back here for the break.
Coming up next,
Let's make money together. What do we got?
Cramer's bringing the thunder and answering your burning questions in today's edition of The Lightning Round.